You go to a Scrum Master interview and you are asked a simple question as, why should we hire you, right? And if you think about it, that's like a very simple interview question. But then again, it can be very difficult to answer. Why is that? Because you have to convince this interviewer, which I'm sure you've been doing for the whole interview, whereby you can summarize why should they hire you over every other candidate they've been interviewing for, right? So how I've answered this in an interview question is to basically summarize my resume and also talk about my attributes, my strengths, so that this interviewer can know that I have everything, the total package they need for this particular position. So ways how I've answered this in an interview question is to say that given my experience and my skill set, I am the perfect candidate for this position. I am very compassionate servant leader. I like to influence my team. I support my team. And one thing about me that I know might be very different from every other candidate you've already interviewed for is that I take my time to meet my team where they are. I do not impose things to my team. And I have the servant leadership skills whereby I see my success as my team's success. And I continuously will learn a new way of doing things. I'm a fast learner. I am very patient. I am very compassionate and empathetic towards my team. And I do not stop until I see my team get to their achievable goal. So I answer this way in the interview by giving all these attributes about myself and also summarize my experience so they can also know that I'm not only just saying all of these strengths about myself, but they can also take a look at the resume and see that I definitely do have the skill set, I definitely do have the experience and the knowledge needed to do this job. And also, they should take me over anybody else. Why? Because I am patient, I am very knowledgeable, I'm very compassionate about agile, and I'm not only going to influence my team, but I'm also going to influence the company as a whole and also promote this agile mindset in the company, also promote everything needed for all of the whole company to be successful in this agile transformation. And there's no any better person to work with your team or work for your company than me. So you should definitely hire me because I know I will come in here. Within 3 months, you will see how I'm able to add this value to your team. Thank you very much. So that's how I answer that interview question on why should we hire you. So another simple interview question that you will go to the interview where they will ask you like a simple interview question, right? You might be asked, how many team did you manage, right? And I've been in an interview where an interviewer actually asked me, how many team did you manage? I've also been a interviewer whereby I interview someone and I will ask them the question about how many team have you managed? And for a Scrum Master, that should be like a ding, 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 like, right? Because we all know that as a Scrum Master, we do not manage anyone. We are not project managers, right? We support our team. We guide our team. We influence our team. So when an interviewer asks you, how many team do you manage? And that's where the way I've answered this in the interview question, interviewer, is that currently I support 2 teams. I currently support 2 teams. So I will change their vocabulary of them saying manage, and I would substitute that for support so that they will know that I am not a manager. And sometimes too, interviewers can be tricky, right? They want to see how much you truly know about the agile space, right? The Scrum way of doing things. And sometimes by your vocabulary alone about the things how you will say during an interview can take off and say, I think these Scrum Masters still need a lot to go, or maybe they are new to the role or they need more trainings because we Scrum Master do not manage. And then maybe in that same follow-up question, usually they will always ask, okay, how many people do you have in your team, right? Like your team members, how many people are part of your team? Another way too they can ask this question will be your team dynamic, like what are the roles in your team? So ways too you can answer this question is just to be simple, right? Or you don't have to go too detailed about their degrees and all of that, but just summarize. Oh, I currently have like 5 developers, and I have like 2 quality analysts, and I have a business analyst. I have like 1 architectural engineer, and we also have the product owner, myself, right? So you just summarize your team members. And if you do say you have 2 teams, then they might ask you, okay, if you have that 1 team that's made up of that, what about your next team? So tell me about your second team. And then so you can elaborate. But if they didn't ask you, they just ask you how many team you manage, just tell the numbers. And don't use that opportunity to start going in detail and explaining on, go off and dig yourself in a hole that you can come out. So that's why it's very, very important that you go to your interview, you are asked simple question, answer simple. They ask you yes or no question, answer yes or no. And if they ask a follow-up question, then you can further elaborate. So that's that. So the next thing, interview question 2, I'm going to be addressing. And before I address this interview question, please, if you find my content valuable, like and subscribe to Aisha Scrum platform. I truly appreciate you all. And if you're interested in mentorship or how to get started in Scrum on anything, email me jalloaisha1@gmail.com. You can also contact me in all social media platforms as Aisha Scrum. And thank you again. All right, so let's go back to the next interview question, right? So the next interview question is simple interview question that have been asked, and where you might be asked when you go to your interview might be, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, right? So that's simple, right? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? So I've been asked that question, you'll be like, oh, I hope I prepared for the answer, right? So ways how I've answered this question is to basically put myself to that interviewer's company, right? So 5 years from now, I see myself in your company, supporting my teams, expanding the agile knowledge in your organization and company, creating agile community of practice in your company if you don't even already have one. Create a meet and greet for all Scrum Masters and product owner where they all can meet and continuously learn and grow about agile. And also grow and go from being a regular, a medium to practitioner Scrum Master to a senior level Scrum Master. And hopefully then I can go back to school and get more knowledge and grow in your company. And I see myself already in your company because given my research, I've did the research about your company, and I see that there's no better place for me to be than your company in the next 5 years. So this is exactly how I'll answer this question so that they will see that I am very serious. Not only I'm just not one of those Scrum Master that just want to come in for 6 months or 1 year and leave, but instead they see me as a good asset. Because why? Companies spend a lot of money, to be honest, interviewing people, going through all this recruiting and all of that. It costs companies a lot of money. So they will take you over someone else that's saying that you already see yourself in their company for the next 5 years, expanding your knowledge in agile and also growing together with the company, where of course at the end is to help increase their return of investment, increase customer satisfaction, and also increase quality. So you can say all of this answer and they will look at you and be like, yes, you are hired. All right, so that's the interview question. So the next interview question too I'm going to be asking or I'm going to be addressing is, what do you do for continual education? To be honest, I've actually asked this to a Scrum Master one time, because for you, for some of you that don't know, I've been in a position of an interviewer and interviewee. So I've interviewed people at work, like potential Scrum Masters. I've also been interviewed as a Scrum Master. So I'm coming literally from an experience when I'm giving this interview tips. So please take use of them, make use of them, because it's actually going to be adding value to your process of your interview processes, okay? So when you are asked, and we actually have asked this to someone, what do you do for continual education? They literally went blank, and this person literally gave me an answer of, I'm currently enrolled to get my master's degree in business. Okay, that's good, right? But what I meant about that question is that currently as a Scrum Master, what do you do to continue like keeping your knowledge, right? And also, because you continuously have to learn. Learning doesn't end. Not that you're a Scrum Master, then guess what? Boom, your job is done. No, you still have to continue to learn. And what ways how I've answered this in an interview question is to say that uh, things that I'm currently doing or I've done in the past to keep my knowledge and to keep learning and to do for continued education is to join Agile Community of Practice. I'm currently part of the Agile Community of Practice. And I've also created the Agile Community of Practice. I'm part of the Agile Community of Practice in my job, if you did create one. I also attend seminar. I recently just attended a seminar that Jeff Sutherland, one of the founders of Scrum, was giving a lecture on Scrum and Scrum framework, right? And I joined this LinkedIn free webinar for continual learning. And I also have mentor, right? I continue to learn from my mentors and my coach, right? So that's something that I continue to do to learn. And also at the same time, I plan to enroll in school to continue my knowledge in degree aspect. And recently too, I just got a certification in SAFE just to expand my knowledge in SAFE, although I've been working in SAFE environment. So you basically list seminars or webinars or Agile Community of Practice you're part of, or your mentors, your coach that you've been learning from. All those other things can help answer those questions about you continue learning and growing. All right, so the last interview question I'm going to be addressing is when you go to your interview, right, and they ask you a simple question, are you familiar with Jira? What your answers will be. If you are familiar with Jira, just say yes. So that's not the opportunity for you to start explaining everything about Jira, right? Because to be honest, this have happened. I've actually interviewed someone. We just asked simple question. Are you familiar with Jira? Yes. Or they literally didn't even answer the question, yes or no. They literally went in. Or my company, I have 5 years experience using Jira. My Jira, we have our team name, we have our board, and we use the burn down chart, we use the velocity chart every morning, and we use the Jira for our daily scrum, we use the Jira for this. No, they didn't ask you all of that. So if they ask you a simple question, are you familiar with Jira? Yes. So if so, tell me about your experience using Jira. So when they go detail and ask you about that open-ended question, then you can give an open-ended answer. And if I'm asked a follow-up question on my experience in using Jira, I'm like, oh yeah, currently we use Jira as our project management tool where we track the progress of the teamwork, and we use Jira. The team use Jira. All of our company use Jira, and we use Jira to track the team progress of the work. We also use Jira to track the team metrics, the velocity, and also we get true update on the progress of the work. And that's it. So you don't have to start going too detailed and explaining if you are just asked simple question. I hope this interview, simple interview but difficult to answer, have been helpful, because the goal for this interview prep today is for you all just to know that sometimes interviewer can be so tricky, right? They might ask you a wrong question and we'll see if you know to correct it with the vocabulary change, right? And also, they'll ask you like simple things that you might not think. Because sometimes I've noticed that when people are practicing about Scrum interview, people are just so focused on the Scrum interview alone. But sometimes so interviewers can ask you like simple interview questions, especially interviews with HR. Like because sometimes for companies, before you go and work, before you even meet the team or you even meet the engineers, you might have to talk to the HR itself. When you do pass through the HR, before you can now even go to the interview with the technology people, IT people, right? So in that case, this simple interview question, they'll ask you such simple interview question, right? So it's very important for you to prep for all, not just the only Scrum specific interview question. I hope all these questions today have been very beneficial to you all. Please, if you find my content valuable, like and subscribe to my channel. And if you are interested in mentorship, I do provide mentorship in my team. I have a team of other coaches that we all do this mentorship. And yes, we do provide one-to-ones and we do provide training. If you're trying to transition, you are going through interviews and you are having difficulty passing interviews, or you're currently working as a Scrum Master and you are also struggling in your job, you can definitely connect our team. And you can just email me or you contact me on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I have it all. Just contact me as Aisha Scrum. And thank you all again. See you all again next time. And if you missed my last interview video about 5 difficult interview question and answer, I will highly encourage you to watch that video, because that video did describe when they ask you a difficult question like a time you have failed, right? That's a very important question for a Scrum Master. As you know, the interview, that question also answered a time when you've actually, your team continue to have spillover. What would you do as a Scrum Master, So you should definitely look back to that interview video for you to further learn about interview skills. See you all again next time in my next interview Q&A. Thank you all for watching this video. See you.